Do 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 do. Ooh, Brent Corrigan.
Top 10 reasons why atheism is completely idiotic.
What the fuck?
Okay, first thing they say to you, atheism is science.
Seriously, man, you're interrupting happy time. This better be good.
Oh, the mantra that never dies. It's science, folks. End of story. You're stupid. If you don't believe, you're an arrogant, ignorant, knuckle-dragging Christian.
Well, I wouldn't call atheism science. However, people do come to the conclusion of atheism because of science.
Do it. You're just stupid. Because you don't know it's science. What's wrong with you, you dumb? But when pressed for proof, it is science, or that science has all the answers, what do we get in return from these atheists? Mocking, ridicule, anger, spite.
Science has given us a lot of answers. Hasn't given us all the answers, but it has given us a lot of them.
A. Science cannot test God. You cannot put God in a test tube and run experiments on him.
That's absolutely right. The scientific method cannot be used to discover whether or not there is a God.
Science can't test history.
Science can most definitely test history. That's what forensics is.
Might as well throw all history books because they're bullshit, because they're not science. It's all lies.
Well, I wouldn't throw away all history books. I just might not consider some books to be history as a result of science.
Okay, C. Science can't tell you why you think you're a person. Do you believe you're a person, or do you believe you're just millions of single-celled organisms working together in a body? Why are you a person? Do you think you're a person? Well, if you're logical and scientific, like these atheists say, you shouldn't think you're a person, because you're just random chance. You're just a blob walking around with a backbone in it.
I'm a multicellular organism called a eukaryotic organism, not millions of single-celled organisms.
And D, science cannot tell you what is right and wrong.
What? Dude, you interrupted my happy time with myself just to do this. Seriously?
So obviously morality doesn't exist either. It's bullshit. You can do whatever you want.
I also don't need the scientific method in order to tell me whether or not something is right or wrong. I have empathy.
Because science is king.
Again, I know what is right and wrong based on whether or not it causes harm. It's pretty easy. You don't have to be a Christian to know these things.
You can do whatever you want.
Well, technically, yes, I could do whatever I want, but I'm not going to do whatever I want. For instance, I need $1 million. Going down the street and robbing a bank in order to get it, probably not a good idea, as it would have consequences for me, the bank owners, and people who had money in the bank.
You can do whatever you want.
Empathy, dude. Empathy.
Number 2, that's number 1. Number 2, atheists say we don't need to prove atheism because it's a lack of belief. We don't have to prove it. You got to prove your religion. We don't got to prove anything.
Did you just imply that atheism is a religion? Seriously? I'm pretty sure every atheist you've ever talked to has told you that it is not. There are no rites, rituals, practices, or gods in it.
There is a guy here on YouTube called Shock of God.
Oh, Christ, really?
Who has probably asked about 50 atheist YouTubers one simple question. Here's the question. What proof and evidence can you provide that proves atheism is accurate and correct?
And every single atheist YouTuber who he has asked that question has given him the same response. The question is malformed. However, I would say that the conclusion of atheism does follow the scientific method. We do not feel that the evidence is compelling enough for us to believe. Therefore, it is the null hypothesis, which, by the way, can be disproven should you actually provide us with some evidence.
It's a running video series, this Shock of God guy, on his account, with 50 atheist YouTubers on his Hall of Shame.
Woohoo! I might actually make the Hall of Shame! Yeah!
His Hall of Shame. for not providing 1 ounce of evidence for their beliefs. So far, he hasn't had anybody provide any evidence whatsoever that atheism is accurate and correct. Because it doesn't matter what they believe.
Curiously, what would that evidence look like? What would evidence for the non-existence of a God look like? I'd really like to know.
It only matters that you're wrong. But see, they don't have any answers. And they don't have any proof that they're right. Just that you don't know what you're talking about.
Wait. I didn't claim to know that God didn't exist. I just happen to believe that he does exist. That's called agnostic atheism.
Number 3. Atheists tell you that evolution is fact.
Evolution is a fact.
It's fact.
Evolution is a fact.
It's fact.
Evolution is a fact.
And if you question it, you're an idiot.
I'm still trying to understand what that has to do with atheism, though. Just because a person happens to understand how evolution actually works, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're an atheist.
So far, I've done about 15 videos completely mocking atheism and presenting a viewpoint that actually makes sense.
Wait a minute. Didn't you, in the beginning of this video, say that all atheists do is mock and ridicule you? And now you're telling us that all you did was make videos that mock and ridicule them. What did you expect back? Seriously, dude.
On those videos, I've had hordes of atheists give me thumbs down. I had 100 thumbs down in 5 days' time on one of them. Now it's probably about 160 thumbs down on that video. And I have about 100 thumbs down on another video.
One of those was mine.
Hordes of atheists telling me that evolution is a fact. So far, of the 10 plus times I've asked for proof, I have not had one atheist, not even one, of the thousands who watch my videos, provide one piece of evidence that macroevolution is fact. Not one. None of them, literally. Matter of fact, none of them have even tried. They haven't even tried to prove it.
Whoa. Why do atheists need to provide this information for you? You have access to a computer, obviously, and you have access to libraries. There are thousands of them across the country. You have access to museums as well. It doesn't take much to go look for these things yourself, but if you want evidence for evolution, Richard Dawkins actually wrote a whole book called The Evidence for Evolution. Then again, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't look at it even if I gave you a copy, would you?
They're too busy mocking. They don't have it. They don't have to prove what they believe. They know everything. They got science.
Not one atheist that I have ever met has claimed to know everything.
But you got blind faith. You're an idiot. Don't you get it? Okay, number 4. Atheists confusing science with blind faith and religion.
Wait, atheists confusing science and religion? Are you sure you read that right?
Yes, I know. They're quite well known for telling everyone else that they're blind believers. But ironically, they're complete hypocrites. They have no clue what science or evidence even is, apparently. Science equals a branch of knowledge or study dealing with the body of facts or truths, systematically arranged and showing the operation of general laws, such as the mathematical sciences.
Yay, he understands what science is. You do understand that evolutionary theory falls under that category, right?
Okay. Now, just a little bit of background. I've taken Calc 1, 2, 3, 4 and differential equations, physics, statics, dynamics, thermodynamics, and a shitload of other classes because I'm a mechanical engineer. So I think I know a little bit about math. I think I know a little bit about science. I think I know a little bit about evidence.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of education. My goodness. I guess you've got me beat here. Oh, it's just an argument from authority. Well, I'm still going to scrutinize everything you say no matter how many classes you've taken.
So far, no one has provided any scientific evidence that macroevolution even occurs.
What do you think macroevolution is?
You can provide proof of microevolution. And see, this is where they bait and switch you. They tell you, we got proof.
Oh, I see. You're making an arbitrary distinction between macroevolution and microevolution. Look, it's really easy to understand. Microevolution is a small step in the evolutionary scale, say, like from wolves to dogs, and macroevolution is a large step in the evolutionary scale. This isn't too hard to comprehend, but I'm pretty sure you're just going to continue to say there's no evidence that macroevolution has happened, when it has.
They tell you, we got proof. Proof evolution it happens.
Well, there is proof that evolution happens.
They tell you, we got proof evolution it happens. But guess what? It depends on what type of evolution you're talking about. See, everybody believes in microevolution. That's called adaptation.
Okay, let's get something straight. I don't believe in evolution. I understand it. When talking with religious people and people who believe in creation, I often find that they ask me whether or not I believe in evolution. There's a difference between believing and understanding. The thing is, once you understand how evolution works, there is no believe. You just understand it.
That's within the DNA strand field, okay? But then they use that proof from microevolution to prove macroevolution, which is total bullshit and has no proof.
Speciation, or macroevolution, occurs when a daughter population can no longer successfully mate and interbreed with the parent population. That's macroevolution. It's really easy, dude. But I'm pretty sure you're looking for the crocoduck, aren't you? Yeah.
See, they don't tell you the difference. Adaptation says that you could take a dog and make them big or small within the DNA field. Okay, you can have them, dark, thick hair, thin hair. That's all within the reference of the DNA. It allows all that play there, you know what I mean? It allows for this field of differences.
One species of animal cannot give rise to a fundamentally different type of species. It just doesn't work that way. That would disprove evolution. So if you want, you could go find the crocoduck, and then you will have disproved evolution, and also become one of the most famous men in history.
But guess what? Macroevolution, that requires mutations, and it requires the DNA to change.
Who told you that macroevolution requires mutations? It doesn't require mutations. It just takes time. That's all.
We have no scientific proof of DNA changing, ever in a scientific lab. Nowhere. Period. And they tell you it's fact. Okay, but they still insist on telling me it's fact. If it is a fact, please provide proof and make me a believer like you, atheist.
Dude, what number are we on? I want to get back to happy time. Brent Corrigan is calling.
Number 5. We're only on number 5. I haven't even got through hardly any of these. We've got 10 of these. Atheists provide no answers for anything.
Ugh, fuck you. I'll be back. What were we doing? Oh, right.
Now, if you ask an atheist for proof God doesn't exist, he will give you all manner of materials and studies that they have rapidly produced. Okay? Or if you ask them why heaven doesn't exist, they'll joyfully provide you some atheist book to read that has 20 arguments why heaven doesn't exist.
Again, what would you accept as evidence for the non-existence of God? What would that look like?
When you ask them for answers, such as how did the Big Bang start?
Oh, come on. I would say, well, we don't know.
They say, well, we don't know. We don't know that.
Oh, right. That's not good enough for you.
We just work with science. That's all we work with is science. Or if you ask them, why water is the only substance that increases in size when it freezes out of all materials.
Ooh, I know the answer to that question. Could it be the fact that oxygen molecules are slightly negative and hydrogen molecules are slightly positive? This is what's known as hydrogen bonding, and that when water goes below a certain temperature, it creates a hexagonal shape that leaves large gaping holes, expanding the ice, and also making it less dense than itself as a liquid. That's why it floats on top of itself?
Giving fish the ability to live in cold temperatures, because ice is on top of the water rather than below. Because when the ice is on top, it actually allows the water to stay warm. It's a closed system. The ice was on the bottom, they would all freeze and die. Okay, why is it that one substance is different than all the other ones? Why is it that one, when you freeze it, gets bigger, and every other substance gets smaller? Isn't that kind of weird?
Oh, I see. You're trying to say that it appears intelligently designed.
Maybe it has something to do with intelligent design. I don't know.
Yeah, I called it. It's
kind of weird. It's just some weird shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. It's weird. Shit like that is so weird.
Or how by random miraculous chance, both sexes, male and female, of any and all animals that supposedly evolutionized, just so happen to mutate beneficially at the exact same time.
You know, I remember in the 6th grade, there was this video that we watched. It made everybody in the room feel really uncomfortable. I don't know if you watched it, but if I have to explain to a full-grown man about the birds and the bees, this is going to get even more uncomfortable than that. You see, when a man and a woman love each other very much...
Same reference, and they just happen to mate, too. Because you actually have to have both sexes mutate the same way, at the same time.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. You're talking about male and female coevolution. Well, I can easily explain that. Originally, single-celled organisms didn't actually need to mate. However, they did do a strange thing called trading plasmids, and they would also share their DNA. This increased the likelihood of their survival in case other pathogens came along and tried to infect them. And over long periods of time, they eventually became what is known as sexually dimorphic, meaning two shapes. Human beings have two shapes, male and female. And when men and women have children, their children are different than them. They carry different immunities, making it more likely that those children will survive and pass on their genes.
And guess what? We have no scientific evidence whatsoever that any mutation has ever done anything beneficial for any animal it's ever mutated in. There's not one documented proof of a mutation that was beneficial. Ever.
Contrary to popular belief, mutation is any change in the nucleotide sequence of DNA. Human beings carry on average up to 150 mutations in their DNA that don't actually affect them. They don't create any discernible change. Yes, they can be bad, and some of them can be good, like virtually indestructible bones or AIDS immunity.
Ever. Yet we're told that this is how it all happened. There were beneficial mutations.
Are you thinking that, like, mutations that are beneficial should give us, like, force powers or something? Because that's not really how it works.
So happened to happen, but we have to take it on faith. But no.
I do not take it upon faith. I look at the evidence. Something you obviously don't know how to do.
Faith. But no, it's not faith.
No, it's not faith, it's science. It's science because we told you it's science. It's science, and you don't fucking question it. We know fucking everything. You're just a dumb hillbilly who believes in your God and your guns with your barefoot pregnant wife taking care of the kids in the kitchen. But we are esteemed scientists. It is we who study everything. We know everything. You got it, motherfucker?
We told you it's science, so it's science. Don't fucking question us. We fucking know everything. You're just a dumbass hillbilly that believes in your God and your guns. You just sit there with your barefoot pregnant wife taking care of the kids. While we esteemed scientists, we study everything. We know everything. That's the truth.
Oh. Apparently you've heard this before. All right, I was just kidding around, but the thing is, I've never said anything like that to anyone. I have numerous family members who are Christians and who believe in creation. Not once did I ever tell any of them that they weren't allowed to question the science. That's how science works. You're allowed to question it.
Okay, well, I think you get the picture. They have no answers. They just know yours are bullshit. Number 6, atheists believe that the ancient aliens possibly created mankind. But of course, no, God could never make you. Are you fucking stupid or something? Why would God make you? Ancient aliens potentially could have made humans. Of course, God didn't do it.
Well, if given the choice between ancient aliens and God, I would probably choose ancient aliens because the thing is we know that life exists here on Earth. And the likelihood of life existing elsewhere in the universe is very high. But I think that you're confusing ancient aliens with the idea of panspermia, which is the idea that life came from somewhere else in the universe. Like, say, there was an asteroid or a comet that struck the Earth and carried with it the ancient ancestors of life on Earth. We're not talking about big-eyed, black-eyed aliens coming in ships and dropping DNA in the water in order to get us eventually.
Yes, of course, if evolution is not a good fit for explaining how we got here.
Evolution is not an explanation of how life came about. It's an explanation of how life diversifies.
Professor Richard Dawkins has a new intriguing solution for you. Ancient aliens. Yes, ancient aliens. Haven't you watched George Norrie, people? You listen to him on the radio at night, real late.
No, I've never listened to him on the radio late at night. Never.
Real late. They could have possibly created mankind. As long as God's hand was not guiding it. What are you, stupid? God? Are you kidding me?
There's a big, giant conspiracy amongst all scientists to ensure that nobody ever postulates that a God created the universe.
If we put God in the picture, we're just talking about fairy tales and spaghetti flying monsters and bullshit like that. Seriously, people, use your brain. Come on. Of course, it could have been ancient aliens.
All hail his noodly appendage. Let us bow our heads in prayer. We seek the truth of your complex carbohydrates.
7 people. Number 7.
Dude, it's been a while and I think it's happy time again. I'll be right back.
Seven people. Number 7.
Oh, you're still here.
Emphatic that God does not exist. And they're quite clear of this, that it's not blind faith. They're quite clear it's not blind faith, it's science.
I think we already went over this. I don't claim to know that there is no God, or that I have proof that there is no God. I just don't believe that one exists.
They have scientific proof that God doesn't exist. Let me think about that for a second. Would you not have to be God to prove that you're a God? Wouldn't you have to have the ability of God to prove there's no God? Seeing, you would have to have all knowledge of reality, be able to look under every rock in the galaxy, and be able to look in all 13 dimensions to know if there is a God there. Say, hey, yo, God, are you in the 12th dimension? Yo, God, are you in the 11th dimension? Yo, God, are you way over there at that galaxy? Well, you would have to have superpowers to know if there's no God, wouldn't you? You would have to practically be God to know if there's no God.
Yet apparently you only need to exist within the first 4 dimensions in order to make the claim that there is a God.
So apparently, that's not scientific proof, people. So, somehow atheists would have you to believe that literally, having leaped tall buildings, searched the galaxy for God, and they know everything. They know everything about this. When in reality, they're eating Cheetos and masturbating to porn.
Yup.
And getting on YouTube calling themselves the amazing atheist. That's the truth. Number 8, atheists say there is no proof of intelligent design. Yet if you only open your eyes, you can see all manner of complex ecosystems, life forms, solar systems, the beauty of reality everywhere in front of you. A sunset.
Simply because you find things beautiful and you see patterns in things does not mean that they were created or designed. As for the universe being intelligently designed, I would have to say no. Nearly 99.9% of the universe is uninhabitable.
But that's all random chance. That wasn't created. And this is what they call science. Random chance. Okay, number 9. Atheists, they think they have to no longer act right. They think they can do whatever they want. Now that they know there's no God, they can be asses and jerks to everybody on YouTube and everywhere in the world. They can be asses because they know they're right.
You know what's funny? While I do know that there are a few atheists who act that way, they only act that way in response to religious people saying that they have all of the answers, to religious people saying that they're wrong and that they know for 100% certainty that they are wrong based on whatever holy book they've chosen to be the truth.
But then they expect you to act nice back and be a good Christian and turn the other cheek and you know, all that kind of stuff. While they are mocking you and making fun of God, while not proving anything, while not providing any proof, while they don't have any proof for their beliefs whatsoever, and no one ever challenges them, they expect you to just sit there and take it. Be their little bitch. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes I'm on the bottom.
After all, wasn't that what Jesus meant? Just be their little bitch? Just let atheists mock you and be nice back? No, of course not. Jesus meant to be kind, not to take shit from those who dish it out.
Dude, according to Matthew 5:11, you should be taking a lot of shit from a lot of atheists because it says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." So I would think it's in your best interest to actually take the insults and not say anything back, but who am I?
Is giving your bullcrap back to you, atheists. I'm just doing back to you what you do to us, so you can know how it feels. Look, you don't have any answers. And I still haven't found an atheist yet to provide any answers. I'd like to see one. I'd like to see one actually provide something. So far, I have gotten nothing but bullcrap from atheists wrapped in a little science wrapper. You open it up, voila, bullshit.
Really? Really?
Okay, number 10. Atheists will tell you that you're a mind-numb zombie who will believe anything. Yet most of these atheists I've encountered are just spewing mantras from their dear leaders, such as Richard Dawkins. Richard effing Dawkins. Sorry.
How dare you besmirch Richard Dawkins with that wonderful English accent, those glasses, that white hair, and that crooked smile.
They use similar debunked myths and phraseologies like the God of the Gaps.
Do you mean they use critical thinking to debunk religious claims?
They keep quoting these mantras from all these stupid books they read.
I think there's only one type of people that quote stupid mantras from books they read.
It's like, and they don't provide any proof. They don't look into anything, of course.
On the contrary, there seems to be only one person here that isn't actually looking anything up.
Of course. You know, like one of theirs is like, Jesus, he's just a story from the ancient Roman and Egyptian gods. You know what I mean? No, it's all bullshit if you actually look into it.
Well, I'm not one of those people who actually denies that Christ ever existed. I will tell you that those stories, well, they are similar. Not exactly the same, but they are similar. And the evidence is compelling enough to make us believe that there is a lot that has been added to the story of Christ.
Of course they don't tell you that because it's their little mantra, it's their beliefs, it's their little bullshit, beliefs. I mean,
Dude, do you have any more after this? Because you know what? I think it's happy time again. I'll be back.
and seriously, the people they mock is what they are. The people they mock is what they are. Keep in mind that they don't have time for fact-checking or actually thinking about stuff, though they call themselves free thinkers. Maybe we should call themselves free non-thinkers. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, that's it? All right. Well, that was fun. Well, if that's all you got, then I guess we're done here. This is Atticus signing off from my very first response video, and tell me what you guys think. Was I bad? Was I good? Was I accurate? Was I inaccurate? Go ahead, tell me. I like constructive criticism.